Brian Johnson getting a head coaching job? Oh, really now?
We better do. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. So, I want to go over some news for the Philadelphia Eagles and definitely a lot to talk about here. We are waiting for our playoff game in Tampa Bay where we're hoping that things are going to change. We're hoping that this team is going to have a little bit of a turnaround, that this team is going to show some fight in that game. But some news that did come out from Brian Johnson, what he is doing and how the league is really looking at him as of right now, it just seems like, Panthers are expected to interview Eagles offensive coordinator Brian Johnson for their head coaching job per source. I mean, I could probably just say, see you later, but I don't know. I guess there's I don't get how there are other teams out there that solely believe that Brian Johnson is the brains behind this offense, or kind of now looking really stupid now from how the Eagles have, so the Eagles have lost, 5 out of 6, 5 out of 6 in 6 weeks, and it's not good. It's not great. Early in the season, I thought, Brian Johnson is going to be a hot commodity when it comes to head coaching jobs. Last year, I think he almost had a coordinator job somewhere else from a quarterback coach standpoint and didn't get it. So I don't know if the Eagles can obviously block him from going anywhere. I'm not really sure because he went from a quarterback coach last year to a coordinator this year. And, usually you have to be in the same coaching staff position for 2 years to actually, after the first year, you can block them. The second year, they could do whatever they want. You can't really stop them at that moment. So this is, nothing surprising. I figured there was going to be something in here regarding Brian Johnson, being, garnering interest from other teams. And I guess that's what's happening. And to be honest, it wouldn't really make me sad if he left. Okay. I think we can all agree on that. And number two, I thought the right thing with Brian Johnson, which I was really heavily supporting in the offseason this past season, was because Brian Johnson and Jaylen Herz have a very good relationship. And I think that really did build up. And I thought to keep them both in Philadelphia was going to make Jaylen Herz better. But I guess I was wrong. And I feel like not saying there's no accountability, but I feel like I see Jaylen Herz and Brian Johnson talk during bad times during games, but I never really see anything erupt at times. I don't know how, maybe this relationship is too friendly at times, and I feel like there's nobody really pushing Hertz, and since Hertz is having such a regressing year, coordinators have to change and control needs to be let go of by Howie Roseman and whatever else is going on. So that's the news on Brian Johnson so far. There's obviously been other news on Nick from Tim McManus talking about, quote unquote, it's out there that they might end up moving from Nick Sirianni. I don't want to say that that's the most likely, but I do feel that's in play. Which it possibly could. I feel like if the Eagles don't even have a fight in this game against Tampa Bay, because Tampa Bay is not a great, fantastic football team, especially the way they played the last couple weeks before the regular season was done. Okay, I mean, look, at the end of the day, if Sirianni stays, he just needs to be the players' coach, and Howie needs to pull back and hire two coordinators that want to bring in their own systems, and obviously Sirianni needs to keep this culture around. I really hope that the players are not giving up on him too much. I kind of think that they already have a little bit. A.J. Brown before the Giants game even had meetings with Eagle players saying, we need to start trusting the coaching staff. And I feel like there's a lot of players that, I don't know if it's just Nick that they don't trust, or it's really everybody at this point, that the Eagles, the players are not really buying into what they're doing as of right now, or how they're being coached, or being in the right position to win football games. There's a lot that goes into this whole situation. So Nick getting fired is a 50-50 chance. It really depends on what happens in this playoff game. I'm not necessarily saying because if it's a win or a loss, but how they win or how they lose will probably Jeffrey Lurie's going to get a sense of what the locker room is and what it's about. And then if he feels like Nick has lost too much by that point, they will get rid of him and hire somebody else. So Eagle fans are saying that he might, that he will, or depending on the loss or a win or how far they get, or if they can win a playoff game, I'll probably be beyond shocked at this point. But even with Tampa Bay and what they have been doing the last couple weeks of the season against the Saints, and obviously, only putting 9 points up against the Panthers, that just hasn't looked really good with them. I don't think Tampa Bay are world beaters. Okay, we faced them week 3. Okay, we can't compare the game early this season because this was 2 different offenses. How we've progressed, we have progressed horribly. It comes down to coaching. It comes down to execution from the players. And when you have bad coaching and the players are not into it and they're going through the motions and they look like there's no juice to the offense, it looks like there's no juice to the defense. And obviously switching defensive coordinators that have made us look from bad to worse at this point. You're not giving up 22 points a game. You're giving up 27. You're giving up the big play a lot more with Matt Patricia. And people are like, well, that's the size playbook. Well, it's the size playbook, but at the end of the day, the size playbook at the end of the day, but this is, the play calling has been significantly somewhat better with Sean Desai, but not going to give him a medal for that. Okay, let's make that loud and clear. I want to go back to Eagles football, man. This game, they got to show me something here. There is no way that you spin around in a 180, lose 5 out of 6, and look worse and worse and worse. I want to go back to the times early in the season when Jaylen Herz was staying in the pocket, being more patient, not rolling out so damn fast to his right, and, not being inaccurate at times. Like, stay in that pocket, be patient. I thought that was a game where he was really patient. Now, obviously, the offense was, the protection was good, and Hertz was moving around a lot, and Hertz did some really good things in that game. And the Eagles just, they were pass happy a little bit, and then when they gave the ball to DeAndre Swift and put it in his hands, my God. I mean, I think that was the last 100-yard game he had this year. I could be wrong, but I think they ran the ball like 40 times in this game. Like, go back to attacking. And I'm telling you right now, okay, you rested DeAndre Swift in that Giants game because of an illness. Maybe he was sick. I don't know. But at the end of the day, like, they've been resting him all fucking year. Besides the Vikings game, because Kenneth Gainwell was hurt. So the Vikings game, they ran the crap out of Boston Scott and Kenneth Gainwell in a couple snaps to Penny in that Vikings game. He had like 175 yards, something like that. I mean, Swift just took over. When we went to the season trading for DeAndre Swift on the 3rd day of the draft, which we didn't even expect, but we knew we needed another running back, we said, if DeAndre Swift stays healthy, this is what he's going to be. Okay? So if DeAndre Swift gets 5 carries in this fucking playoff game in the first half, I'm going to be pissed off. It is time to unleash DeAndre Swift. Swift might not be here after this year. This could be it at the end of the day for DeAndre Swift. And to be honest with you, if I was the coach and if I was re-signing guys, I know the Eagles don't re-sign running backs. I get it. Swift is just a different talent. You're not talking about a 20-year-old running back. You're talking about a 24, 25-year-old running back. That's a dual threat I want another coordinator to get their hands on him and mold him into something so special. He'd be one of the most dangerous running backs in the league. I mean, he just he literally, the second to last game of the season, he just cut over 1,000 yards. It's murder, man. It's something that it should have been so much more than that. This guy should have 13, 14, maybe over 1,400 yards this season. He should be the second best back in the league. That's how much we have been underutilizing him. And we were pass happy in this Tampa Bay game. As soon as they started attacking the inside zones with DeAndre Swift, the offensive line was playing aggressive. And man, like Swift gets that juice going. A big long run from Swift. Great blocking, and look what you have. And then when you get that big run from Swift, I feel like with Jaylen Herz, you actually get a nice rhythm with the quarterback. And I feel like every time like Swift gets this big run, or it is, averaging 5.2 yards a carry during this time, it was insane because he had almost like 400 yards in like 3 weeks. I mean, it was kind of nuts. after this Tampa Bay game early in the season. But man, when you're aggressive with him and the Eagles say, we don't give a fuck, we're going to run down your throats. That's what they did. And you got to use him in this game. You have got to try and not. I mean, I'm telling you right now, if you rested this guy the last game, I'm telling you right now, how you used him the whole year was fucking criminal. Like, I'm telling you right now, I better see. It's the playoffs now. Run the shit out of him at this point. If you're not going to re-sign him and regardless if you're resigning him or not, run the shit out of him. I don't want to see him literally have, I literally do not want to see him, okay, go back to Tampa Bay with a clean white jersey on. Because if I see that fucking jersey brand new on his back, white, no grass stains, no nothing, it's going to be a problem. I'm tired of having Kenneth Gainwell as the focal back. I'm tired of using him. It's a fucking waste of time. I'm just tired of I'm just tired of it. Because the Eagles have been, with these backs in general, the Eagles have been so fucking predictable. When they sub out Swift and they put in Kenneth Gainwell, it's just a fucking joke at this point of what teams know what they're going to do. Attack with DeAndre Swift. Balance the pass in there. I'm sorry, but this isn't a pass-first team. This is a run-first team this year. That's what the identity should be. It's not going to be like it was last year. We all know this. But man, DeAndre Swift better be fucking unleashed Monday night, because it's going to be a problem. I mean, look at the defensive line that week too. At Jalen Carter, the rest of the guys, they were getting pressure on Baker Mayfield. The tackling from the linebackers. I think this was Nicholas Morrow's one of his best games of the season. They got a safety in this game. I mean, they did they were running these linebackers downhill. I mean, so much was working. Defensive line was just chugging along, getting pressure. And now I don't want to see Hassan Reddick in pass coverage. I don't want to see Josh Sweat in pass coverage. Your best pass rusher should not be in pass coverage. It's just not good. Obviously, getting Slay back is going to be a nice jump start to the secondary. Now, I'm not a big fan of James Bradbury. I've kind of hated him the past 5-6 weeks pretty much. Would rather have Keely Ringo in there. But I can't stop what's going to happen, and they're probably going to keep James Bradbury in there. And the 2 games before Slay opted out for surgery to clean up his knee that's been bothering him for the past few seasons, and finally got it done. It wasn't a selfish move. It was just something that he had to do, which would make him feel better by the end of the year. So Slay hasn't played in a few weeks. And, you know how I hate this bend, don't break scheme, but we have to hit home with this defensive line like we were early in the season. I mean, 1 sack a fucking game to none is pathetic. I mean, you can't create ways to get pressure. You don't run stunts with your defensive linemen. You're showing the same thing every single time. You don't blitz your linebackers to fill those gaps. You do nothing. The Eagles don't know how to blitz. You lost Sidney Brown for the season, so you're down like a shit ton of safeties right now, pretty much. No Justin Evans, no Sidney Brown. I mean, you're down to literally nobody at this point. Slay played good the last 2 weeks before he had the surgery, but I didn't really like his comments weeks ago on he's not tackling a certain way because he wants to be able to be there for his kids. And if you're signing all this money for millions of dollars, don't fucking just retire. Don't even waste your time at this point. But getting him back is definitely going to be big for the secondary, no doubt. He's sorely missed, unfortunately. And to be honest with you, like I just want to see a fight. I just want to see a fight. I just want to see them go out there and just look fucking normal for once. Just normal. To look like a normal offense, like a coaching staff that knows how to use their players for a fucking playoff game. The Tampa Bay Bucks are not world beaters. You can run on this team. You could pass on this team. I mean, literally, you could do almost anything on them, okay? And our defense has got to get better. The defense is the biggest weakness going to the playoffs, more than the offense, because Matt Patricia looks like he has no idea what he's doing taking over a playbook. They're just not doing enough. They're not utilizing what they have. It's absolutely embarrassing how you have a roster like this. And I get it. Like, you have injuries to certain positions. I get it 100%. But when you have more injuries on a defense, okay, when you have more injuries to your squad, and you can't compensate for certain players that are back, okay, that are not back, that are out and not playing for the rest of the year, you have to be creative with your defense. You have to have a strong mind. which I thought that Sean Desai was going to do. And to be honest with you, I've said this to a lot of people in the comment sections that everybody is saying, Matt Patricia, this is Sean Desai's playbook. And then I said this earlier in this video. I said, you know what? This is Sean Desai's playbook, but Sean Desai, unfortunately, play called a lot better, unfortunately, in a worse situation. Not that Sean Desai deserves a medal for any of it, but we weren't giving up the big play. We weren't giving up a big play overhead. How many times have we given up the big play this year? We're matching slow ass linebackers on fucking quick running backs. I'm tired of it. It makes no sense. So all these positions are flawed. So the defense better show me something, and Matt Patricia better get real creative in this offense with Jaylen Herz, man. Like, go back to your roots of what you did early in the season. We got to see a run game, a heavy run game. We got to see a threat with Jaylen Herz on his legs at times and balance the pass with a little bit of a mix. But keep running with DeAndre Swift and get some big runs here and do some good things, because I'm telling you right now, like, that just brings juice to the offense. Hertz gets into a better rhythm, and we are golden. Get everybody involved. You're going to have A.J. Brown back. You're going to have Devontae Smith back. This is the same roster offensively that you had versus Tampa Bay early in the season. There's no excuses for this. And I'm hoping there's a fight here. That's all I asked for. So other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about the matchup in general. Do you mind Brian Johnson going to the Panthers? Do you think he will get hired? And, what do you think is going to happen next? What do you think the Eagles are going to prove on Monday? Do you think they're going to put up a fight in this game? Do you think they're going to get destroyed? Do you think Nick's job is on the line? Guys, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Shakes, what up, follow, slide. Peace out, guys. Peace.